In the vast wilderness of the Yukon, there are still places where nature rules, places untouched by fences, warning signs, or second chances. For centuries, explorers mapped the edges of the world, but the deep forests and mountain corridors of northern Canada remained wild, unpredictable, and unforgiving. Even today, grizzlies still dominate this terrain, silent, unseen, and terrifyingly fast when provoked. Most people will go their entire lives without encountering one. But for one young mother, a casual evening jog would become a nightmare she could never have imagined.
Hit like and subscribe. This is Fierce.
On June 30th, 2024, a simple run down a quiet road near a Yukon campground would spark one of the most brutal, prolonged, and miraculous survival stories in modern Canadian history. This is the true account of Vanessa Chaput, a woman who came face to face with a charging grizzly boar, survived the impossible, and lived to tell the world what happened in those agonizing minutes. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. In Canada's far north, the rules of survival haven't changed in thousands of years. Here, the forest belongs to the animals, and among them, none commands more fear or more respect than the grizzly bear. Most encounters end long before humans ever realize how close they came. But on June 30th, 2024, one young mother would come face to face with a massive boar grizzly on a quiet evening jog. And what happened in the minutes that followed would become one of the most brutal, miraculous survival stories ever recorded in the Yukon. In the vast and rugged Yukon territory, danger isn't theoretical. It's real, it's sudden, and it's often invisible until it's too late. Even now, with satellite maps and global tracking technology, there are still pockets of wilderness where nature dominates every inch of the land. Places where grizzlies move silently through the brush, unseen, unheard, but always watching. These forests are not hostile, but they are indifferent. And one single mistake, one misstep, can turn an ordinary evening into a life-altering fight for survival. This is the story of Vanessa Chaput, a 27-year-old mother, a lifelong resident of Haines Junction, and someone who understood the power and unpredictability of the northern wild. But nothing could prepare her for what waited around that quiet bend in the road. Vanessa, just months after giving birth to her daughter, had been working hard to get back into shape. Running wasn't just exercise. It was her moment of clarity, her ritual, and she never ran alone. Her partner was Luna, the family's German shepherd, loyal, protective, and always eager to run beside her. Vanessa tied back her hair with a plastic clip, clipped Luna's leash into place, and stepped out onto the gravel road. There is no indication she carried bear spray, no firearm, just a leash, a dog, and a quiet sense of routine. The two settled into a comfortable pace, breathing in rhythm as they followed the road that curved gently through the trees. But halfway through their jog, something changed. Luna slowed, her ears sharpened, her muscles tightened. She sensed something, and seconds later, Vanessa saw it too. 4 dark shapes stepped out from the brush ahead. Grizzlies. Not cubs, not a mother with young. These were full-grown bears, enormous, muscular, and far too close. Vanessa's breath caught in her throat. Being raised in Haines Junction, she knew how dangerous even one grizzly could be. But 4? This was a worst-case scenario. Instinctively, she began backing away, slow, silent, controlled. But fate shifted in an instant. Luna, whether driven by instinct, fear, or devotion, ripped the leash from Vanessa's grip and charged toward the bears, barking with explosive force. 2 of the grizzlies bolted into the forest immediately. Luna chased, nipping at their heels. But the largest of the 4, the dominant boar, did not run. It turned, it locked onto Vanessa, and then it lowered its head and charged. There is no sound like a charging grizzly, no warning, no buildup, just a sudden eruption of force as hundreds of pounds of muscle explode toward you. Vanessa stepped back once. Before she could take a second, the bear was on her, its jaws clamped around her right forearm, crushing bone instantly. The sound was sharp, sickening, and unforgettable. The bear shook its head violently, tearing flesh, shredding muscle. Vanessa screamed, fighting to stay conscious as the bear's teeth tore through her arm in rapid, brutal bites. And then it went for her head. The bear's jaws closed around the back of her skull, but hit something unexpected: her hair clip. The plastic shattered inside the bear's mouth with a loud, unnatural crack, a sound the grizzly seemed to interpret as bone snapping. For a split second, just one, the bear hesitated. It loosened its grip, and that hesitation saved her life. Vanessa dropped from its grasp, hitting the ground hard and scrambling away with every ounce of strength she had left. She pressed herself against a nearby tree, trying to disappear behind the trunk. Blood streamed down her scalp, her arm hung twisted and broken, and her breath came in ragged, panicked bursts. The bear turned back toward her. It charged again. Vanessa pressed tighter against the tree, bracing for the final blow. Then, through the chaos, another sound broke through. Luna, the German shepherd, charged back into the clearing, barking ferociously, darting between the bear and her owner with fearless loyalty. The bear spun toward the dog, roaring, and lunged. Luna bolted, drawing the grizzly away. It was the opening Vanessa needed. She ran. Vanessa stumbled into a roadside ditch and followed it, half running, half crawling, blood pouring from her shredded arm. She burst onto the edge of the Alaska highway, trembling, sobbing, desperately scanning for help. With shaking fingers, she pulled out her phone and called her husband. Her voice cracked as she said the words no one ever wants to hear. "A bear attacked me. Please, please come." Her husband immediately alerted emergency services. Within minutes, first responders reached Vanessa, finding her drenched in blood, but still conscious, still fighting. Medical teams stabilized her and rushed her to Whitehorse General Hospital for emergency treatment. She had survived one of the most violent bear attacks in Yukon history. Back at the campground, conservation officers mobilized quickly. By 10:30 p.m., they evacuated the entire site. Children crying, campers packing in a frenzy, the air thick with fear and confusion. Dozens of officers swept into the forest with shotguns and bear rifles. According to camper Lee Carruthers, they moved with a grim determination, methodical, silent, focused. Hours passed, and then 4 deafening shotgun blasts echoed. The aggressive boar was dead. Vanessa's injuries were catastrophic: a shattered forearm, deep punctures across her scalp, permanent nerve damage. But she lived. She survived because of her instincts, the smallest stroke of luck, and a loyal German shepherd who refused to abandon her. Encounters like this remind us that the northern wilderness is breathtaking, but it is also powerful, unpredictable, and indifferent to human presence. For Vanessa Chaput, a routine evening jog became a fight for survival she will never forget. And in the heart of that forest, one thing remains certain: no one is ever truly alone in grizzly country. Experts later suggested that the attack may not have been random at all. Dogs, especially confident, protective breeds like German shepherds, can unintentionally turn a defensive bear encounter into a violent confrontation. To a grizzly, a dog is not just noise. It's a threat, a challenger, even a predator. When Luna lunged toward the bears, she likely triggered the boar's instinct to defend its space and eliminate whatever was disturbing the group. And when she chased 2 of the bears into the brush, the remaining dominant male may have reacted with heightened aggression, interpreting the chaos as a direct challenge. In the wild, a bear's decisions can shift in an instant, from tolerance to tension to attack. And in this case, the loyal instincts of a dog trying to protect her owner may have accidentally provoked the very violence she was trying to prevent. Still, without Luna's return during the attack, Vanessa's story might have ended very differently. A dog helped trigger the danger, and a dog helped save her life.